Hi everyone, my name is Madison Keene and I'm excited to be in your group. So I already did the assignment. I didn't realize I couldn't go back and erase the answers. So I'll show you how I found my answers. I didn't want to mess up my math while presenting to you guys because I'm horrible at math. I wanted to make sure my answers were correct. So we start with the income statement for the month ended August 31st. Because up here it is asking transactions made during August 2017. So you only want the month. It gives you other options for year ended and date of August 31st, but we're going to choose for the month ended August 31st. First, on our income statement, we're going to choose revenues. And if we go up here, we will see revenues. If we come down, we only have one service revenue of $10,500. So I went ahead and plugged that in. And then next we go to expenses. If we go up here, we can see we have three expenses: rent expense, salary expense, and utility expense. I'll pull up a calculator and show you how I found my answer. So you take the rent expense of $780 plus your salary expense of $2,500 plus your utility expense of $330, and you should get $3,610. And then what you're going to do next is subtract your revenue total from your expense total and get your net income or loss, and you should get $6,890. Then we're going to go on to our retained earnings. And for our retained earnings, it'll be the same answer as we did up here in income statement. It'll be for the month ended August 31st. So we're going to start with retained earnings, and because this is the company's first month of operations, they have zero for their beginning balance. Next, we're going to add our net income, which we already did up here in our income statement. So we take this total, $6,890, and we plug it into here, and we add our retained earnings beginning with our net income. We'll get $6,890. Next, we put in our dividends. If you go up here to our ledger, we see that our dividends right here of 1,700. Plug that in here and subtract 6,890. Subtract 1,700 from 6,890. And we should get 5,190 as our ending retained earnings. Next, we'll go on to our balance sheet. For our balance sheet, we always just put the day of, never put the month of. So it'll be August 31st, 2017. And we start with our current assets. We always start with our cash. I always put assets in order of liquidity. So cash, if we go up here to our ledger, we have a bunch of different cash options. We have to do a bunch of math, which is why I did my answers first to make sure I got the right answers. So we're going to start with our 19,800. Then we're going to minus 1,900. And then also subtract 570. Then we're going to add 5,000. Then we're going to subtract 1,500. We're going to subtract 1,700. And then we're also going to subtract 780. And we're going to add 450. Then we're going to subtract 2,500. We should get 16,300. As we see right here. And next we have accounts receivable. And if we come up here, we can see the accounts receivable, we have 2. So we're just going to subtract that 450 from that 5,500. And we should get 5,050. Next, our last current asset is our supplies. You can see here, we only have one of 570. So we'll go ahead and plug that in. Then we're going to go ahead and add our cash, accounts receivable, and supplies. We'll get our total current assets and get an answer of 21,920. Next, we're going to plug in our equipment, which we can find up here, and we only have one of 5,050. So we'll go ahead and put that in here, and we'll put our total assets, and to get our total assets, we are going to add our 21,920 plus 5,050, and we should get 26,970. Next, we have our liabilities. We'll start with our current liabilities. We only have one, which is our accounts payable. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to add that 3,150 minus 1,500 plus 330. We should get 1,980. And we'll go ahead and plug that into accounts payable. Next, we're going to do stockholders' equity. We always start with common stock, which if we find up here is 19,800. So we'll plug that in. Next, retained earnings, which we already found up here. So we just take this last number, 5,190, plug that into retained earnings, figure out our total stockholders' equity, which will be this 19,800 plus 5,190. And we should get 24,990. Then we add that with our accounts payable of 1980, and we'll get our total liabilities and stockholders' equity of 26,970. I hope that was helpful, and good luck with your assignments in the future.